Welcome back to Metals, Money, and Markets, week ending November 3rd, 2017. For miningclips.com, I'm Rob Goodman, and fresh out of the field, the Mercenary Geologist to break it all down, Mickey Fulp. All right, Mickey, tax reform, a new Fed chairman. Let's spin right into this. The precious metals a little mixed here, but not a lot of volatility.
Yeah, they were mixed. Gold and silver are off a bit. Gold's down for, seven of the last 8 weeks. It lost $4 to close at 12.69. Silver lost 4 cents to 16.80. Meanwhile, platinum gained $4, up 0.4% to 9.19. And palladium, acting more and more like an industrial metal and not a precious metal, is pushing that $1,000 range, up 3.5% to 9.93 on the week.
And finishing up with copper, a small blip to the upside.
Yeah, it's stabilizing above 310. Now been above 310 for 4 weeks in a row. Closed at 312, up 0.7%. Of interest is it's in backwardation for 1 month, which means very tight supplies at the present time.
And heading over to the energy markets, black gold on a nice little run here across 55.
Yeah, the real story this week had to be oil. It closed well above $55, WTI at 55.70 for a 2.8% gain. There's just everything appears to be lining up for oil right now. The Brent arbitrage is up to 650. That certainly helps U.S. exports, which closed at a record 2.1 million barrels a day for the week. OPEC and Russia are in talks to continue production cuts. Majors had very strong Q3 earnings. Brent is in backwardation, and there's speculation that WTI will follow. We already mentioned with copper what that means. U.S. inventories are down 90 million barrels since mid-March. Exports, we've already mentioned. Rigs down 11. Meanwhile, production hit a 2017 high. So oil's looking pretty good right now.
As we head over to the currency markets, a relatively flat week here, with the loonie actually acting a little better.
Yeah, the dollar closed up 4 cents to 94.92, but it is a high since mid-July. Euro was flat. Loonie was up 0.5%, closed above 78 cents. It went below that last week at 78.37. I have to think that's due to oil, and also the Toronto Stock Exchange set record highs this week.
Yeah, and speaking of the exchanges, we head over to the markets here. We nice new highs, a new week across the board here. I guess tax reform probably rah on this, but we'll see how this new Fed chairman acts. But break down the numbers.
Well, Dow hit a record high on Friday at 23,539, up 0.4%. S&P 500 record high at 2588, up 0.3%. Nasdaq up 0.9% to 6764. Think the new Fed chairman's going to be good. He's the most dovish of anybody that Trump was considering, so I think that's going to be good for business going forward with low interest rates, the norm. Meanwhile, the VIX on Friday hit its all-time low in its 28-year history at 9.14. No volatility in these markets.
Yeah, and venture up a tad bit here as well.
Yeah, the volume really surged on Friday up to 115 million shares. We haven't seen a volume like that since one day in mid-June. Closed at 792, up 5 points for the week. But I think what we're seeing right now is tax loss season is ramping up. And, I'm having some real concern what's going on in the Toronto venture markets with a number of companies. I can count at least 4 or 5 that I know of that have surged exponentially on high-grade grab samples. And with no drilling, no assays, and this is pure speculation, and some people are going to get burned on this, Rob.
Yeah, well, we'll certainly keep our eye on that, and we'll check our eye on the wire here. And I think Trump said he wants tax reform dealt with by Thanksgiving, so we'll see how that goes. So,
Yeah, good luck with this do nothing Congress, in my opinion.
yeah, touche. Okay, Mickey, appreciate the insight, and I look forward to chatting with you next week.
Thanks a lot, Rob.